The man who wins in cars he hates. He called his own car garbage. Then he went out and became history anyway. Most drivers spend the weekend before a cup race quietly building confidence, telling the media everything feels great, praising their crew, staying positive. Shane van Gisbergen did the opposite. He sat in front of the cameras at Sonoma Raceway and told the world, without blinking, that his cup machine was, quote, pretty subpar, to put it nicely. He said his team got smoked in qualifying. He said they had real work to do. And somewhere in that garage, every other driver exhaled with relief. They should not have, because 24 hours earlier, this same man had just rewritten NASCAR history in a completely different car and made it look like he was out for a Sunday drive. Saturday belonged to no one else. June 27, 2026. Sonoma Raceway. The Pit Boss Food Max 250. Shane van Gisbergen started from pole position in the number 9 JR Motorsports Chevrolet, and what followed was less a race and more a masterclass in total domination. He led 66 of 79 laps. He crossed the finish line 1.324 seconds clear of the second-place car. He controlled the field the way a chess grandmaster controls a board, not through aggression, but through suffocating precision that leaves opponents with no legal move to make. When it was over, he shrugged at the crowd. "Sorry it wasn't the most exciting," he said. "I guess boring's good when you're the one leading." That is the kind of sentence only a man in complete control ever gets to say. But what happened beneath the surface of that clean, clinical win was anything but simple. The strategy was the entire story. Van Gisbergen and the JR Motorsports crew chose to flip both stage brakes, sacrificing points in the moment to keep track position locked in. They transitioned immediately into fuel-saving mode and managed the gap to the field behind them with the kind of cold calculation that separates drivers who win races from drivers who compete in them. "We flipped both stages trying to keep the track position," Van Gisbergen explained afterward. "I was a bit surprised the number 1 car didn't at the second stage. Then it was just fuel-saving mode and trying to manage. The car was amazing. Behind him, the race was considerably more dramatic. The comeback nobody asked for, but everyone watched. His teammate Connor Zilisch did not have a clean Saturday. Not even close. A tire that leaked air during qualifying forced an unapproved adjustment, which sent Zilisch to the rear of the field before a single green flag lap had been run. Then, as if that was not enough punishment, he was hit with a pass-through penalty for speeding on pit road, dropping him to 33rd in the running order at the start of Stage 2. 33rd. From what was already a bad starting position. What happened next is why people watch racing. Connor Zilisch carved through traffic, rebuilt his entire race from nearly nothing, won the second stage outright, and crossed the finish line in second place behind his own teammate. It was one of the most remarkable drives of the season, and Zilisch made no effort to hide how he felt about the gap between them. "A caution or something to bunch us back up would have been nice," he said. "I feel like our Roto-Rooter Chevrolet was fast enough to compete, but we were just matching each other the entire run there, and he was probably saving fuel and managing his stuff and giving me hope. I'll always believe we had something for him." The rivalry between teammates, separated by 1.324 seconds and an enormous amount of mutual respect, is one of the most fascinating subplots of the entire NXS season. History quietly made. Now here is where Saturday gets bigger than just a race result. With that victory, Shane van Gisbergen became the first driver in NASCAR Xfinity Series history to win 6 road course races. 6. He came into the weekend tied with Marcos Ambrose, the Australian who built his legend at Watkins Glen between 2008 and 2014 across 77 career starts. Van Gisbergen passed that mark in just 39 starts. Let that ratio sink in for a moment. Every single one of Van Gisbergen's 6 Xfinity victories has come on a road or street circuit. 0 oval wins. 6 road course wins. He does not merely prefer these tracks. He owns them at a level no foreign-born driver has ever matched in the history of this series. The ceiling above him still belongs to AJ Allmendinger, who holds the all-time record with 11 Xfinity road course victories. That number is the only thing standing between Van Gisbergen and the top of every historical conversation about this discipline. He is climbing fast, and he is climbing efficiently. Then came Sunday's problem. Here is where the story shifts tone entirely. After celebrating a record-breaking Xfinity win on Saturday, Van Gisbergen strapped into his number 97 Trackhouse Racing Cup car and delivered a qualifying performance that reflected none of that same dominance. He went 6th fastest in his group, 5th in practice, and his assessment of the machine was delivered with the kind of blunt honesty that makes press conferences genuinely worth watching. "My car was pretty subpar, to put it nicely," he said. He went further. He explained that his team was competitive within their qualifying group, but that the cars in the second group simply outpaced them by a margin that could not be ignored. "We need to make some improvements," he admitted. It was a bit of a struggle, really. This is the moment where a casual observer sees a struggling driver heading into a tough Sunday. A more careful observer sees something else entirely. Because this is Sonoma Raceway, and Van Gisbergen is the defending winner here. And last year, at this exact track, he led 97 of 110 laps in a cup race so dominant it barely resembled a contest. "We've had bad cars before and made them come alive on Sunday," he said, almost casually. "Pretty confident my guys can make it better. Should be a bit of fun trying to move forward." A man who calls his own car subpar, then smiles and says it should be fun. That man is not worried. That man has been here before. And the drivers who finished behind him last year know exactly what that smile means. Why Sunday matters more than almost any race this season. The stakes are not small. Van Gisbergen currently sits below the NASCAR Cup Series chase cut line. His path back into contention runs directly through Sonoma, because this weekend represents the final road course on the entire 2026 Cup schedule. After this, the circuit turns to ovals, tracks where Van Gisbergen's advantage narrows, and where other drivers have spent their entire careers building an edge he does not yet possess. This is his window, possibly his only one. And waiting on the other side of that window is something even larger than a playoff spot. A Cup victory on Sunday would give Van Gisbergen 7 career wins on road and street courses in the Cup Series, tying Chase Elliott for second on the all-time list. Only Tony Stewart with 8 and Jeff Gordon with 9 would remain ahead of him. A driver who has been in the Cup Series for 3 seasons, who came from Australian supercars, sitting in the same historical sentence as Gordon and Stewart. That is the magnitude of what Sunday holds. One more complication, the in-season challenge. Sunday also marks the opening round of the in-season challenge, a 5-race, bracket-style tournament with $1 million going to the winner. 16 head-to-head matchups, and Van Gisbergen drew Ryan Preece in the first round. This is not a random pairing. There is history here, and it is fresh. The two drivers exchanged gestures out of their car windows during the race at Pocono. The following weekend in San Diego, they made contact on track. The moment has been building for weeks, and Van Gisbergen chose not to defuse it when asked about it directly. "I see he's been getting pretty lippy online, so that's a bit of fun," he said. "We had a little tussle last week. He kind of pulled a shitty move on me and half-spun me, so I got him back. But he's a good dude." That is the tone of a driver who is engaged, alert, and not particularly interested in backing down from anything. The odds makers have him as the overwhelming favorite at -160 to win the entire challenge, ahead of Connor Zilisch at +750 and points leader Tyler Reddick at +900. The bigger picture. Van Gisbergen has a perspective on this sport that almost no other driver can offer, because he arrived from the outside 3 years ago and has never stopped seeing it fresh. "As a motorsport, you don't know who's going to win," he said. "Whereas you watch F1, there's 3 guys who are going to win. I think our sport is really cool. Even at a road course, there's 10 guys who can win." He is simultaneously the most dangerous road course driver in the field and one of the clearest-eyed voices in the entire paddock about why the sport itself deserves more attention than it gets. The rest of Sunday's storylines are real and worth watching. Gibbs claimed the Cup pole with a lap of 1 minute and 14.829 seconds, edging Carson Hocevar by just 0.025 seconds for his first pole of 2026 and third of his career. Gibbs is also the defending in-season challenge champion and opens against Austin Dillon. Christopher Bell will race through a fractured wrist suffered at Michigan, starting 14th while sitting 60 points above the cut line. Bubba Wallace crashed in qualifying and faces a rear-of-field start. And in a rematch of last year's stunning upset, Ty Dillon faces Denny Hamlin once again in the opening bracket. All of it matters. But the center of gravity for Sunday is the same as it was for Saturday. A man in a car he already called bad. a record within reach, a playoff spot on the line, and a track that, for the past 2 years running, has simply belonged to him. Shane van Gisbergen does not need a perfect car to be dangerous at Sonoma. He just needs Sunday to start.